Second base umpire Frank Pulley ruled no catch. And we're going to have our first major rhubarb of this championship series. Pulley has said no catch.
Let's look at the starting lineup for the visiting Pittsburgh Pirates, who go in 1-0 in this second game. Omar Moreno will lead it off and play center. Tim Foley, the shortstop, will bat in the 2-hole. Dave Parker's in right field, batting third. The cleanup batter, Willie Stargell, playing first base. John Milner will bat fifth. He'll play left field. Bill Madlock is batting sixth and playing third. Ed Ott will do the catching again today and bat seventh. Phil Garner batting eighth and playing second. And Big Jim Bibby, 12-4, 1-0 with the Reds this year. That is also his lifetime against them. So that is it. The top third, Moreno, Foley, Parker. The middle third, Stargell, Milner, Madlock. The bottom third, Ott, Garner, and Bibby. For the Reds, Dave Collins will lead it off and play right. Joe Morgan, second base, batting second. Dave Concepcion is the shortstop, hitting third. George Foster, the left fielder, is batting cleanup. Johnny Bench will do the catching and hit fifth. Dan Dreesen's at first base, and he'll bat sixth. Ray Knight at third base, and he'll be batting seventh for John McNamara's Reds. Cesar Geronimo in center, batting eighth, and Frank Pastore with a record of 6-7, 0-1 with the Bucs. That is also his lifetime because he was a rookie this year. He's an impressive pitcher, and as the Reds take the field, Pastore will be headed for the hill in a moment. With this lineup of the top third, Collins, Morgan, and Concepcion, and the middle three, Foster, Bench, and Dreesen, the bottom third, Knight, Geronimo, and Pastore. Pastore now, as you see, just going across the line. He's a flamethrower. With the two guys going here today, Nelson Briles, it's possible they might have to measure the mileage on the Richter scale rather than miles per hour. They both can bring it.
They certainly do, and we faced Frank Pastore in his first Major League appearance, and even though we knocked him out somewhere in around the fourth inning, he was still throwing the ball very well. Was sent to the minor leagues, has since come back and established himself as their number two pitcher in their rotation. Throws the ball very well.
In all fairness to him, the day we knocked him out, he was really put on the spot. That was the day Seaver tried to warm up a couple of times, and I don't mean just briefly. He was down in that bullpen. Pastore really went to the hill in that game on short notice.
Well, he certainly did, and it's difficult to prepare for a game when at the last minute they said, hey, the starter can't make it, you're in there. And it's his first Major League start. It's against a fine Pirate ball club. A lot of pressure was put on him, and maybe that's one thing that has helped him have the success later in the year.
All right, his battery mate is Johnny Bench. Their infield first around to third. 22, Dan Dreesen is at first. Joe Morgan, number 8, at second. Shortstop Davey Concepcion, number 13, is the shortstop. Ray Knight, 25, at third. In center field today, they've changed it. It'll be Cesar Geronimo, number 20, since we're starting the right-hander. George Foster, their kingpin in left, number 15. And Dave Collins, 29, in right. Pirate coaches are Al Monchek at first, Joe Lynette at third. Pastore is getting close now to being ready. And Johnny Bench directing the youngster. Well, last night there were so many things that went according to the script of the 79 Pirates. Gar's home run got us off and going. The sacrifice fly by Foley. I thought that one of the keys and one of the turning points was when Bench got the triple and they did not score. Another one was, of course, the outstanding infield play again by Madlock and Foley and Garner and Stargell. They all came in for a piece of the credit there with the double plays and the other fine play on the infield. I thought the versatility came through along with the bullpen. That was one of the big points that I tried to make during yesterday's pregame and also on other shows over the weekend, that when we got here, the maneuverability that Chuck Tanner had would help him, and we saw that come to the front last night when he pinch ran for Foley as regular shortstop, and we went on to get the big home run from Stargell and take the one-game edge. Moreno is ready. We're all ready. And the first pitch of this game from Pastore is a strike, and we're underway. Moreno last night was 1 for 5. Their center fielder's playing him straight away. The other two outfielders are fanned toward the foul lines. Fouled off, and it's strike 2 to the Antelope. Foley will be next, then Parker. Well, it broke out into a beautiful day, ideal for the players here. Another day when a pitcher's got to feel like he's pumped up when he gets out here today.
Well, today it's a beautiful day to pitch. Nice, cool breeze blowing. A thing that might come into play later in the game is a sun field and left.
Bouncer Morgan made it close. But they got him, and it's one away. Morgan to Dreesen, second to first. Moreno out on the ground ball. It looked as though maybe Morgan had just ever so slightly a bit of trouble getting that ball loose to get it out of there.
Omar hits the ball up the middle just a little bit. Morgan, playing him relatively up the middle, has a little trouble putting a clean handle on it. And with the speed of Moreno, you can't take anything for granted. Almost beat the play, but Morgan got him in time.
Here's Tim Foley, went 2 for 4 last night, drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. He's playing on 2 legs that have really got him gimpy, boy. There's a strike. If this were the part of the season where you could afford it, we've got about 5 guys who need a week off. But not today. Bounced foul, and it's strike 2, so Pastore gets out in front of both of the hitters. Ended up getting Moreno on a ground ball. Let's see what he does with Foley. No game tomorrow. Next game will be Friday at Three Rivers. Do not know who our pitcher will be. They will start Lacoste. Here's the 1-2. Fly ball, right center. Geronimo has the speed to be there easily, and it's 2 down. Foley out to Geronimo in medium right center. Now we'll go to the Cobra. Dave Parker was 1 for 4 last night. Came on strong in the last 2 weeks. Had a good cut there, but fouled it off, and it's strike 1. You look for edges and you look for lifts. I say that the fact that Seaver wasn't able to win the opening game, and even when he wasn't around, their top reliever was the loser, that's got to give you a big lift.
Their top reliever hadn't given up a home run in his last 42 games. And with Stargell's home run coming in the 43rd game, manager John McNamara said, hey, you got to go with your best. I went with my best, and you beat him. He said that has to give a lot of credit to that Pirate Ball Club.
No balls, 2 strikes, 3rd straight hitter. He's been out in front 0-2. Struck him out with heat upstairs. 3 up and 3 down. So Pastore passes the first test against the good-hitting Pirates. We played a half an inning. The Bucks go down 1-2-3. The Cincinnati Reds are just now coming into bat. All right, Jim Bibby getting in the warm-up tosses, 12-4. When he stepped into that rotation as the other starter, well, he really came on and did his thing, and especially the 2 big games against Chicago, he just pitched marvelous baseball. And as you're looking, you see the defense that will show Ed out his battery mates, Stargell and Garner on the right side of the infield. On the left side, Foley and Matlock. The outfield left to right today, Milner, Moreno, and Parker. Jim Bibby beat this club once in relief this year. That is his victory against them for the season and lifetime. They talk about some pitchers maturing later in life as far as doing their best. Even though Bibby had some flashes of form at Texas and at Cleveland, I really believe he's pitched his best baseball the last 10 or 12 weeks as far as doing the things with the things that he does best. There's a liner into left center, and Moreno will be right there to take care of Collins. So Collins, who went 2 for 5 last night and made one of the great catches in the game on Parker, goes after Bibby's first pitch. Bibby has great stuff, and when he stays with the stuff that really gets him here, he can be a tough pitcher.
Well, you like to see Jim stay aggressive. He needs to challenge the hitters, throwing that good fastball, getting his breaking ball over the plate. And when he does that, as he has done in his last 2 starts, he is pitching the best baseball of his career right now.
Joe Morgan went 0 for 4 last night. Veteran second baseman. Many people say that when he came over in the Houston deal several years ago, he was the glue that set up that infield and really had some great years with his bat as well and sent them on to championships. 1 ball and no strikes. Now he's got a full count on Morgan. And he walks a lot. He led them in walks again this year. He walked 93 times. The payoff on the way, and he ends up walking him. So Morgan becomes the first base runner, and he does it via the base on balls. Now, you got to be careful with him when he's a base runner also.
Well, that's been Joe's forte. As we take a look at the last pitch from Bibby, ball is down in the dirt, then there really wasn't any question as far as Morgan was concerned. But when he gets on that base, he also makes things happen, much like our Omar Moreno. If you walk him, it's almost a cinch double.
David Concepcion last night played sparkling shortstop and went 2 for 5 with his bat. Now the Cincinnati crowd coming to life a little bit as Morgan is sent back to the base by Bibby's throw over. And you take a look at both of them here. Stargell holding Morgan. Bibby working on Concepcion. Stargell still likes to have fun even if it is a playoff game. He'll tap you on the shoulder and the conversation would be worth hearing too.
Morgan's been a regular at Willie's bowling tournament every fall, and they're pretty good friends, but not right now.
He's edging a little and he's going. You don't throw him out on that steal. Stole it clearly on Bibby, and we have talked about Bibby during the year. Here it is again.
Well, Ed Ott comes out of the chute pretty well, but Morgan got such a good jump, and knowing that Bibby is slow to home plate, figured that just a good jump is all I need, and he was off and running with a play, beats it easily.
Bibby with that big long trunk. Although I would say the second half of the season he improved a lot on holding the runners. Fly ball, right field. Parker's going to be right there. Morgan will not have any thoughts about moving over to third against that rifle, and it's 2 away.
Yeah, Joe just goes halfway, knowing that against that kind of an arm, there's no percentage in trying to go to third base.
And especially with Foster coming up. Foster last night 1 for 3, a towering home run to deep left center. He was 1 for 3 with the homer and drove in a couple of runs. 1 ball and no strikes. Really put a wrinkle in that one, but it went outside, so he's behind this hitter. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, he's worked him 3 different spots and missed all 3. He'll be the guy that'll produce the most perspiration here today, even if it is a fall day. Walked him. That's 2 walks in the inning. Now he's got to look at Johnny Bench as Foster reaches first. There's Morgan at second. 2 down in the opening inning, and Johnny Bench stepping in. Last night, Bench was 2 for 3. So with 2 on and 2 out, Bench, who came on strong, especially with the long ball in the second half. Playoffs, nothing new to this fellow. And it seems like he's one of those playoff and World Series and all-star guys who rises to the occasion when the full spotlight is on. Power against power.
That was probably the best fastball that Jim Bibby has thrown so far this game. Reached back, was challenging Johnny Bench, and I certainly would like Jim to do that a little more, maintaining the idea of don't throw it down the middle, but just try and hit the outer 3 or 4 inches and the inner 3 or 4 inches of the plate.
So he's changed the pattern here. He fell behind 2 or 3 hitters. Walked Morgan and Foster. Now he's in front of Bench. 0-2 pitch. Fly ball right center. That ball's going to be back by the fence, and Parker's going to haul it in. Bench going to the opposite side. Took Parker deep, just this side of the fence in deep right center field. The crowd cheering with their hearts there. The ball really wasn't hit that well. And after it got up, it didn't carry, and Parker stayed right with it, ran right under it, and it's no runs, no hits, no errors, a couple of walks, 2 Reds left. We have played an inning. It's the Pirates nothing and the Reds nothing. So the best in the East against the best in the West in the western hometown of Cincy, the Bucks and the Reds. They have dominated postseason play since it began in '69. And Willie Stargell, who hit the 3-run homer last night that won it, waiting here for a moment to step in and lead off the second. His 1 hit last night. Wish I could always dictate things were going to happen the way it turned out last night when I said he was hitless and this would be a good start, and this is it. And the next thing I knew, it was over the fence for a 3-run homer. And just got it, I think.
Center fielder back. He can't climb that fence. It's gone.
Willie said that was a type of pitch last night that even if I'm in a big slump, that's the pitch that I will still hit. Said he tried to work me inside, then got the ball just down and over the plate a little bit, and he said, I knew it was gone when I hit it.
And the ball goes outside to him here for an opener in the second. 1-0 to Captain Willie. Milner's on deck. Madlock down in the hole. Strike, and it's 1-1. Those of us who have been around long enough to see this guy play all these years and have a title of being the MVP slip away one year, boy, it'd just be poetic justice to see him crown it here at the age of 38 to be the MVP. I think one of the things that'll help Willie, Nellie, is the focus that was put on our club the last week or two, and the number of media members from all around the country that came in and saw firsthand not only how great a player he was, which they had to know if they had covered the game at all, but his influence on the team and all the other aspects that we know that were with him every day that the other people don't know, that had a chance to see firsthand in his home ballpark.
Well, that's certainly true, and to illustrate his leadership, there was one point where everybody was saying, you know, we're tired, we're hurt.
Stargell ends up walking to start the second. He's the first Pirate base runner of the day.
And as Willie got up on the trunk and he said, hey, we're all tired, we're all hurt, we have to grind this thing out, get it going. And one of the ball players said, yeah, but you aren't playing every day, Willie. You've just been kind of platooned at first base. And he said, is that right? That's the time he went in to manager Chuck Tanner, and he said, I'm in there every game the rest of the year. We're going to do it. Nobody's going to say that I'm a part-time player anymore, and he has done it.
All right, John Milner, the left fielder, wore a size 5 counter last night, and there's the young right-hander Frank Pastore stepping into a starting assignment in Game 2 of the playoffs. And a fly ball out into left field. Foster flips the glasses right just short of the edge of the track, and it is one away. Milner out to his counterpart, George Foster, in left. Bill Madlock, third base, will step in, and here it is again on that last swing.
Milner not being able to get clear through the ball, hits the ball to left field, and we see in Pastore's follow-through that he has basically a good windup, gets all the way through the ball, and took a little off that with his changeup.
Madlock went 2 for 5 last night. Doggie'd like to include that game in his season average. That might have been enough to make him a 300 hitter. There's a shot to short. 1, 2. Concepcion had to go to the hole a little bit, but fired on to Morgan. In turn, the middleman gets it on to Dreesen, and it's a double play. No runs, no hits, no errors, a walk, DP, nobody left. We played an inning and a half as the double play completed for you there to see just how it happened. It's still the Pirates nothing and the Reds nothing. Danny Dreesen, their first baseman, will lead it off against Bibby in the second. Nothing but goose eggs on the board as Bibby works to Dreesen. Shot through the right side, base hit. First base hit of this game belongs to their first baseman, Dan Dreesen. So Dreesen on with nobody out, and Knight, the third baseman, will be stepping in. Knight last night was 0 for 5. He struck out to end the game. Don Robinson came out of that bullpen humming. Ray Knight, pressure didn't bother him as the throw goes over, and it's not close on Dreesen. All right, we'll go to the split for you so you can take a look at Bibby as he works on Knight and see what Dreesen might have in mind. He's got good speed, and he's going. Line drive into center. Moreno will throw to third. It will be late. Now throw to first, and he got back. So the Reds first and third the Bucks here with back-to-back singles, and with Dreesen going, he made it easily, and we're going to get another look.
The basic hit and run play, the ball was down and over the plate. Not trying to pull the ball, hits it right up the middle, and good daring base running by Dreesen. Lets his speed take care of himself. pulls into third, and Matlock thought he had a shot at the runner at first, but didn't quite get it over there in time as Knight came back.
There's the running of Dreesen again, just taking that look over.
Picked up the ball, followed the ball, knew right where it was all of the time.
All right, runners first and third. Bibby in a full-blown jam here with Geronimo, a left-hand batting outfielder. First appearance of this series. Cruz played center for them last night. Our bullpen's going to go to work. It's Jim Rooker. And a strike to Geronimo. Rooker is the long man here today. Foul back. Got out in front of him, 2 strikes. Comes up empty. Oh, there's a big one. Now he's going to be looking at the pitcher. That was a very big strikeout.
Certainly was. Concentrated on throwing good hard stuff, keeping it up in the strike zone. Geronimo is just absolutely not able to catch up with it. Good fastball by Bibby in a key situation.
And Pastore will be stepping in. Runners at first and third. Pastore with a chance to help himself, and Bibby with a chance to get out of a mess. Fly ball center. He's going to get that run home. Dreesen will tag. Moreno's throw will come to Foley out behind second. 1-0 Reds. Pastore gave it enough of a ride into center. And the Reds break on top. Sacrifice fly RBI for Frank Pastore. All right, now he's got to look at the top man in their order, Dave Collins, who in the first inning lined out to center. And he didn't wait long. He got into the batter's box, jumped on Bibby's first offering. But as he lined it to left center, Moreno was right there to grab it. The 1-2 Knight is running. Throw down's going to be safe. Stolen base for Knight.
It's a breaking ball with an off-speed pitch. It still comes out of the chute pretty well, and I thought Foley had a shot, but he tags him high, and runner's in there.
I think Foley thought he had him.
I think so, because the runner went in with his bent leg, tagged the bag with his bent leg, not his straight leg, and Foley thought that he had a shot at him, even though he tagged him high.
All right, now a runner in scoring position in the person of Ray Knight, and the count is 2-2 on Collins. Strikes out Collins. Second strikeout of the inning and of the game for Bibby. But the Cincinnati Reds scratch first. They get a run on a couple of hits, a sacrifice fly. There weren't any errors, and one man was left. Knight, who had singled and stolen second, was left right there. So we played 2 innings. The Reds are in front. Cincinnati 1, Pittsburgh Pirates nothing. Well, this is it, a chance for another Pirate fan at home to have some fun as we play Giant Eagle Home Run Sweepstakes, and this is it for Harold S. Parsons of Pittsburgh. Harold can root the Bucks home during this half of the third. If a Pirate hits one out of here, Harold Parsons of Pittsburgh is going to win $400 worth of Giant Eagle groceries. And as we go into the third inning, it will be the bottom third of the order. Ed Ott, Phil Garner, and Jim Bibby, all capable of putting Harold Parsons on easy street with a truckload of groceries from Giant Eagle. And Ed Ott last night, who was 1 for 5, stepping into the batter's box. Garner, who homered last night, is on deck. Reds with 1 run and 2 hits. Pirates are scoreless with no hits, but we're early. Just going to the third inning. Frank Pastore, who leads 1-0, drove it in himself with a sacrifice fly. Working now to Ed Ott, and it's ball 1. Play out pretty much straight away in all the outfield spots. There's a bouncer out behind second. Morgan throwing. Just did nip him at the wire. So Morgan's come up with a couple of pretty good plays on Moreno to start the game, and now here on Ed Ott.
Well, it was a chopper that was headed up the middle. Thought Ed Ott might have a base hit, but the ball hangs up just a little bit. Morgan going over, cutting the ball off. Throws on the run and just nips Ed Ott at first base. Nice play, Joe Morgan.
All right, that'll bring up Garner, the second baseman, and here's another look. The fact that he could get that much on the throw, almost leaning toward the second base bag, that throw had enough on it. If he lollipops that thing over, Otts beats it out. There's a bouncer to Morgan again. Comes up on him, but throws on. Garner's out. 2 down in the third. So Joe Morgan getting a workout here.
He didn't have to charge that one. That ball was hit sharply.
Those are the kind you wear a chest protector on, huh? Even when you're playing on the infield. All right, Jim Bibby will step in. Harold S. Parsons of Pittsburgh is still our Giant Eagle home run contestant. $400 riding here. If Big Bibbs can jack one. He had a couple this year. One ball and no strikes. Hit 8 for 45 during the season, 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. 2 balls and no strikes. Bibby the batter. Moreno would be next. And Bibby ends up walking. That'll be the second pass issued by Pastore to go with 1 strikeout. Harold Parsons of Pittsburgh, still our contestant. There's a fly ball into left center field. Going to be easy for Foster, and the side has been retired. No runs and no hits, no errors. A walk to Bibby, and he was left. No home run was hit during this Giant Eagle sweepstakes inning, but no one ever loses here, and our contestant Harold S. Parsons will receive a certificate for 10 Tasty Cake family packs and a year's supply of daily juice products redeemable at your grocer. Our next Giant Eagle sweepstakes inning today will be worth $500. We played 2.5. Reds 1, Pirates nothing. In the third inning for the Cincinnati Reds, Joe Morgan, Dave Concepcion, and George Foster will be due up against Jim Bibby, who was a little late coming out because he was a base runner. Another great crowd here at Riverfront, and that's the way it ought to look Friday when we come home at Three Rivers. And Morgan walked in the first inning and stole a base. They've stolen 2 bases, 1 in each of the first 2 innings. This is with a breaking ball to Morgan, leading it off in the Cincinnati third. The 1-0 from Bibbs, and he got that one in where he wanted it. Started off with him outside in the first and missed, came inside with that one and evened it. Ball and a strike. One and 2. Joe Lynette and Harvey Haddix are usually pretty hard on Bibby each inning when he's in on that bench. There's a high pop. Shallow left center. Foley out. Foley's play to make, and Foley squeezes it. It's 1 away. And by being hard on Bibby, I don't mean that they're cantankerous with him. They just try to keep reminding him, be aggressive. You're better when you do it. And sometimes a couple of guys doing it and not giving you a chance to let up just keeps you right on top of your best pitching.
Well, it certainly does, and they do it in a way that they're more reminding him than anything else, and they also want him to be aggressive because it makes him work a little faster.
All right, this is Concepcion, who flied to right in the opening inning. He's 2 for 6 in the series. Breaking ball went down and away from him, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Concepcion batting with nobody on and 1 away. Bibby has walked a couple. He's struck out 2. He's given up 2 hits, and he's on the short end of a 1-0 game. But we're early. It's just the bottom of the third inning. And the strike is called to make it 1-1 on the brilliant shortstop of the Reds, Davy Concepcion. And just as we are proud of Willie Stargell and think he ought to get the MVP, Cincinnati fans and members of their club will give you just as many arguments for this guy. Drive deep to left. Milner at the fence, and it hits high off the fence. Bounces back to Moreno. Concepcion standing with a double. Didn't miss much of going out of here. The way Milner acted, I think maybe he thought he was going to have a play right at the base of that fence. And here it is as he goes back. He's checking to see where the fence is, then realizes there that it's going to come down off that fence, and Moreno will be right there for the carom, and it's a double for Concepcion.
Well, it was such a high drive, Milo, that Milner drifted back with the ball, hoping that it would come down at the base of the fence. It did not. Carried into the fence, and Concepcion indeed is on with that 2-base hit.
So they're right back threatening. They picked up a run in the second. That's going to put our bullpen to work. It'll be Jim Rooker again. He's already headed out of the far end of the dugout, going to the bullpen, down the left field line. Foster the batter. Foster walked in the first inning. One ball, no strikes. The 1-0. Strike is in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's up, and it's 2-1. Payoff pitches due. Bibby taking a little extra time as he glances down into that bullpen, seeing Rooker throwing for the second straight inning. Ended up walking him. Walking Foster for the second straight time. 3 passes issued by Bibby. Now it'll bring up Johnny Bench. Bench fly to right in the first inning. And here it is again. Show you the location. Threw it in the dirt.
Well, again, a situation where they didn't want to give in to that power-hitting George Foster, so elected to throw the breaking ball. If he wants to chase it, okay, but situation they didn't want to give in and almost pitched around him.
Harvey Haddock, you saw there, the pitching coach. He and Chuck Tanner getting together, seeing what they think of the work that Bibby's doing here. And Johnny Bench, 0 for 1. 2 for 4 in the series. Two on, 1 out. There's Concepcion headed for third. The throw is going to be in time. A beautiful throw by Ott, especially considering that a right-hand batter was right there that he had to throw through.
Certainly was, and I thought Concepcion had a pretty good jump. And as we said earlier, you have to watch him. It was a breaking ball down and away. Ott came up and put it right on the money. Probably the only type of throw that could got a sliding Concepcion. He had to be going on his own because George Foster did not go ahead and steal second base. He's still at first. Concepcion knows with that look right there that, hey, I got to go. Just didn't make it.
Oh, an excellent throw by Ed Ott. Now it's 2 away, and the pitch to Bench is a strike to even it, 1-1. There it is again. And Dog just put that glove down, let him tag himself out as he came into the bag.
Well, he certainly did. Put it right there. And you like Madlock because he stays right in there, puts the ball down, lets the runner tag himself out.
1 ball, 1 strike. There's a high pop. Ed Ott and Stargell both moving. Stargell's play to make midway between the line and the mound, and the caught stealing a big play there, and the Bucks get out of it. Bibby was in trouble with a double and a walk, but he gets out of it with nobody scoring. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, a walk, a caught stealing, and 1 left. We have played through 3, another tough, tight one, just like you expected, isn't it? After 3 innings, the Reds won, and the Pirates nothing.
The next 3 innings are sponsored in part by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. And in part by Mellon Bank. You get a good feeling for saving at Mellon Bank. Well, we've played 3 of Game 2 of the National League Championship Series. Reds leading 1-0. The Bucks have been called on to make some big defensive plays already, and they've made them, Nelly.
Certainly have, and Jim Bibby, although he's been in trouble, has been able to come back and get the outs when he's needed them, so he's hanging right in there. The Reds are playing tough.
Well, it's expected to be a great series, and it has been. The crucial game last night, Pirates winning it, now trailing 1-0 as we go to inning number 4 of Game 2. All the color and drama and excitement is here at Riverfront, and of course the scene will shift to Pittsburgh's Three Rivers Stadium over the weekend. Foley leading off the 4th inning against Pastore. And a base hit into right field. Pirates get their first hit of the game. A leadoff single by Foley. And for Tim, his 3rd hit of the series.
Well, you know, the Bucks are going to come out swinging. The first pitch that's anywhere close, they're going to go ahead and hit it the best way they can. And that ball was in on Tim just a little bit, but it was up. And he was able to get his hands through and serve it over the second baseman's head.
All right, the totals here in the 4th. The Reds, 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. The Pirates, no runs, 1 hit and no errors. Parker, Cincinnati product. He'd like nothing better than to do a number on the Reds in this series. 0 for 1 in this ball game and 1 for 5 in the series. Frank Pastore, Red starting pitcher. 1-0 Cincinnati leads. Parker line drive left center field. Foster plays it off the carpet. Foley will stop at second. Pretty much the same combination we put together in the 11th inning of last night's game. Foley and Parker with back-to-back leadoff singles. So there are the running mates. 2 on, nobody out in the fourth. Pirates in front 1-0.
Boy, and Parker really hit that ball. That ball was starched, and I have a feeling if Davy Concepcion would have been able to get up high enough to get that ball, that he would have ended up landing on his back. That ball would have carried him another 10 feet.
Here's Willie Stargell. He walked his first time up. There's the big hero of last night's game, and there were quite a few guys who wore the hero role very well last night. Pitch is swung on and fouled down to the left side, out of play. Strike one. Well hit, left center field. Foster going back, warning track. It's over his head. Foley will have to stop at third. Parker at second, Stargell's at second. They got 2 men. They got Willie hung up. Willie going to hurry back. The throw to Dreesen. He's out. Well, we had a traffic jam at second base. First it was Parker and Foley that were both standing near the second base bag, and then Foley went to third. Stargell will get credit for a base hit on the warning track in left center field, and then is erased as Foster's throw came back into Concepcion and then on to Dreesen. It was a foot race to the bag, and Dreesen won it. No, I guess Foley was... Here's the play again. And Dreesen got Willie.
Definitely. He outran Willie. Willie not being known for his speed.
Foley must have thought that Foster had a good shot at catching the ball and was going to tag up at second base. He was not halfway. He was going to tag up.
Especially with no one out. He could have been on third base had Foster been able to make that over-the-shoulder catch. He couldn't have thrown anyone out. And Parker feeling exactly the same way. Now the ball drops in. Willie thought, hey, I got a double for sure. Montauk just running and screaming, hey, Will, get back over here. Come on, come on. And again, he loses a foot race. Parker watching the play, but we just got jammed up a little bit, and it cost us an out.
So now with first base open, they're going to put Milner on. What's the percentages there in that situation? Is that a halfway situation for Foley, or is that a good gamble to try to tag up on that?
Well, especially with nobody out, it's a real good gamble to tag up, because as I mentioned, Foster is going to have to make an over-the-shoulder running catch, and you should be able to walk the third, and Parker, watching you tag up, will again possibly tag up and be able to go to second base. But we just didn't get that job done in that situation, and Willie more or less running Parker off of second base. We got caught in the rundown situation.
All right, Frank Pastore issues the intentional walk to Milner. So the bases are loaded for the Pirates with Foley at third, Parker at second, Milner at first. And Bill Madlock, the batter. The Reds are leading 1-0. We're in the fourth inning. That's it, a short. Concepcion to Morgan. One on to first. Not in time, and the Pirates have tied the game 1-1. Foley scores the run. Madlock's ground ball. They tried for the double play, but did not get it.
Just wasn't hit hard. They tried to turn it. Morgan makes a good pivot, but the speed of Bill Madlock beats the play at first, and Foley does score on the play.
Milner coming in on Morgan. Madlock's at first, Parker at third. 2 away in the inning, and the batter is catcher Ed Ott. Morgan made a fine play to retire Ott in the third. See if they run Madlock in this situation. Not going in the first pitch. That's in for a called strike. Parker over at third. Potential go-ahead run. Madlock, the runner at first.
Sets up the situation. If Madlock indeed steals, then they can pitch around Ed Ott, but you have Gardner hitting behind him.
Bounce it is short. Concepcion throws to Dreesen. So Ed Ott has been retired twice on 5 plays. One by Morgan in the third, one by Concepcion here in the fourth. The Pirates have tied the game up. The Concepcion play to close out the Pirate fourth. The Bucks in the fourth, 1 run on 3 hits. After 3.5 innings of play in game 2 of the series, the Pirates won and the Reds won. We go down to the bottom of the 4th inning in this 1-1 ball game. Matter of fact, the totals are even here this afternoon. The big play in the 4th inning was the play on the Stargell ball. Foley was going to tag off second base.
Well, at first he was going to play it halfway, and then he saw that Pastore was going to have trouble with it. Goes on and tags up. He's coming back, but then he's reading the play. He's trying to see what's going to happen. If they get in a long enough run down, then maybe he's going to try and help the runner out by jockeying back and forth around third base. But we just were running with our heads down a little bit. Didn't watch our runners in front of us, and it might have taken us out of a big inning.
Dan Dreesen leads off the bottom of the 4th. Dreesen with a base hit scored the Reds run in the 2nd. So that was indeed a pivotal play in a series of plays in the top of the inning, but the Bucks got a run, tied it up in 1-1. Dreesen facing Bibby. And Bibby's out in front of the left-handed first baseman of the Reds. No balls and 2 strikes. Ray Knight to follow, then Cesar Geronimo. Bouncer right side. Garner. On to Stargell. Dreesen is out 1 away. Here's third baseman Ray Knight. Had the base hit to center in the 2nd. Ball game tied at 1-1. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. These two clubs battling for the right to go to the World Series. Knight pops it up. Stargell taking charge, and 2 away. Bibby's not had an easy inning yet. He'd like to have one here. His center fielder, Cesar Geronimo, he struck out in the 2nd. Dale Berra not eligible, but with the team, as is Joe Coleman.
Bibby wants to come back and get Geronimo here if he can. Make that pitcher lead off the following inning.
Well, I tell you, the name Berra, look at Dale. That name has been in postseason competition. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. He did get him. So that is strikeout number 3 for Jim Bibby. And the Reds go down quietly in the 4th. After 4 innings of play from Cincinnati, Ohio, it's our Buccos 1 and the Cincinnati Reds 1. Nellie, this is game 2 now. The Pirates lead in the series right now 1-0. Let's talk about the strategy back and forth and the psychology. If the Bucks take a 2-0 advantage to go home, what's the feeling there, would you say?
Well, then it boils down to the Bucks only have to win 1 out of 3 at home, and they've done very well at home. It's what it does for the Reds and Johnny McNamara. He has to scramble with everything he has to try and pull it out, winning 3 games in a row, which, percentage speaking, you know, it's very difficult to do. His pitching, he will not be able to go with any one particular pitcher. He can't afford to let one pitcher get in trouble very much. He's just going to have to scramble like crazy where we can set and elect our pitchers as it goes.
Garner leading off the 5th. Line drive. Collins sliding. Didn't make the catch. It's safe. Garner is safe at first. Second base umpire Frank Pulley ruled no catch. And we're going to have our first major rhubarb of this championship series. Pulley has said no catch. He is the second base umpire. John Kibler is the right field umpire, but I think that Pulley felt he had the best look at it. McNamara trying to cool his club down here.
As we've seen a couple of times this year, after some discussion, an umpire has gone to one of his compatriots and asked, did you see the ball better than I did? Did I make the wrong call? And in one instance, there was a changed call for our benefit. But here, I don't know if Pulley is indeed going to appeal to John Kibler, who is down the right field line.
Now the question would be, did he see the ball skip on the artificial surface? If he felt his own mind that he did, then he'd have to stick with his call. But Foley trying to get reason in here with McNamara. It's a 1-1 ball game in the 5th inning.
It's funny, Collins came in really hot saying he caught the ball, and McNamara was the one that's telling Collins, wait a minute, let's talk this thing out. And now it's Foley that's telling McNamara, hey, wait a minute, calm down, we'll discuss this thing intellectually.
Now John Kibler, the right field umpire, is coming into the discussion. He's the umpire that's just come into your picture now. You know, I didn't think Collins stalked in all that quickly. Well, let's see it. Here's the line drive to right. We'll see it from a couple of different angles.
Well, Collins didn't get a real good start, accelerated right at the last minute, comes down, gets his glove under the ball, but I'm sure the question is, did it pop out? And he claims he caught it, and from this angle it was difficult to see because his body was behind it. But here, it appears as though he does catch it. The ball never did pop out of his glove. It appears as though he does make the catch, but it was so quick, it was difficult, I guess, for the umpire to make a clean decision. It looked like it popped the ball out of his glove momentarily.
You can see from the way that his glove was turned down towards the ground that there's a split second there where you think that the ball hit the carpet. But from this angle here, I think it's clear that he made the grab.
But being the prejudiced Pittsburgh broadcaster that I am, I thought it was safe all the way.
Did you really?
No, I thought he made the catch.
I thought he made the catch from that angle right there. There were 3 angles that we showed you. The second one appeared to give us the best look.
Hang in there, Dave. Nice try.
But I'll tell you, the way that second replay that we showed you, you can see there, right there, you can see that from Foley's standpoint, and Foley's on the other side, really, that he's got to see some baseball there. And
keep in mind, too, that the outfielders do not use a closed web, that it's more or less an H web in an H pattern. You can see a lot of baseball while it's in the glove.
Good point, Nelly, good point. Bibby bunting. Knight looked to second, throws high to Morgan, and Morgan just does get the corner of the bag. So the sacrifice goes 5-4 as Ray Knight kind of just lollipopped the ball to Morgan. Garner moves down to second base on the sacrifice. Concepcion there asking Garner what he thought of the play. Here's that bunt.
Boy, and they're asking Morgan to stretch a little bit higher than his true size. He makes a fine play and has to stab at that bag twice, but the second time he nailed the corner.
All right, so it's Garner at second. Here's the bunt again. Good bunt by Bibby.
Again, placing it down that third base line, but Knight kind of getting crossed up there a little bit, taking a look at second base and then not picking up the target real well at first base, almost threw the ball away.
So Garner is in scoring position with 1 away. And Moreno, the batter, he's 0 for 2, has grounded out and flied out. 1-1 ball game. We're in the 5th inning. Geronimo has it. Garner bluffed as if he might be tagging, but never moved. 2 away.
That was just a little reminder on the part of Cesar Geronimo. He's saying, hey, Dave Parker can throw well, some other people can throw well, but I've still got one of the best arms in Major League Baseball, and I'll just demonstrate that fact right here.
Foley steps in. He's 1 for 2. In the 4th inning, single to right and scored. Base set. Garner will score. Pirates take a 2-1 lead. Ball rolling down in the corner, and Foley is into second base with a 2-out stand-up double. 2-1 Buccos lead here in the 5th inning as Garner scores from second base. Foley gets his 4th hit of the series. Tim Foley, always been a winner. Feisty shortstop of the Bucks.
Trying to come in on Tim, and he gets that short bat right on through, drills it between Ray Knight and the third base bag. It rolls down all the way in the corner. Phil Garner is going to score easily, and Pastore just waits for the ball to come out and gets the ball back in. And again, that controversial call in right field helps the Bucks.
As Garner reached on that call, went to second on a sacrifice bunt and scored on the Foley double. So Tim with 4 hits in the first 2 games of the series, picks up his second RBI of the series. Parker steps in 1 for 2. 2-1. Pirates leading. Pastore delivers. And a strike on the outside corner. We talked at the top of this inning, and Parker is batting in this jackpot inning for Joanne Ruffing of Pittsburgh. We talked about the psychology, the mental aspect if the Bucs went out in front 2-0. We get a second here, we'll talk about the other possibility. We took the optimistic view the first time. There's a bouncer up the middle. Concepcion on to Dreesen. No home run during our Giant Eagles sweepstakes inning, but no one ever a loser here. Our contestant Joanne Ruffing will receive a certificate for 10 Tasty Cake family packs and a year's supply of daily juice products redeemable at your grocer. Our next Giant Eagle sweepstakes inning will be worth $600. Pirates in the 5th inning get a run on 2 hits, and after 4.5 lead in game 2, Pirates 2 and the Reds 1.
The Pirates would like to extend their most sincere thanks and appreciation to all Pirate fans for their fine support during 1979.
And Nellie, as I know you know, the Pirate attendance increased in 79 almost 50%, drawing over 1.4 million fans. So to all Pirate fans, our deepest thanks. And of course, with the paid attendance of the 79 season, it was the 2nd highest in the history of Three River Stadium. Exciting Pirate Ball Club. It really has been quite a year, and we've taken this excitement right into game 2 of the National League Championship Series. Nellie, to give both sides of the coin here, we talked at the top of the 5th inning about if we go out in front 2-0. Now, what about the psychology for both clubs if it goes 1-1 as Pastore fouls the first pitch off strike 1?
Well, then the Pirates have to win 2 out of 3, as do the Reds. We've been a better club record-wise on the road than at home, but in recent weeks we played well no matter where it's been. So it actually goes back to then you go for 2 out of 3 and you want that first game back in Pittsburgh. So both managers, I would think, would be going all out with their best pitcher available on Friday.
Interesting you used the word available. I would think in the Reds case, Seaver could not come back until Saturday, right?
Yes, conceivably so. They would still have to go with their plan. It was Lacoste. Ours is still to be announced.
2 balls and a strike as Pastore is leading off the bottom of the 5th. Are you surprised that at this point down a run that they're keeping Pastore in the game?
Well, we're now into the bottom of the 5th, and it's early enough. Pastore is still pitching well. He's only down by 1 run. If you have confidence that he stays strong and can close the door the rest of the way, you can go with him. They've had to use their bullpen a little bit now. Their number 1 man being used quite a bit last night, so it's not a bad move here to go with Pastore.
3-2. A big crowd again here this afternoon at Riverfront for game 2 of this National League playoff game. As you look in from our right field camera. Payoff pitch. And he's on by the walk. There's the president of the National League, Chubb Feeney, and a couple of the National League general managers just behind him. That's John Claiborne of the St. Louis Cardinals. Just behind the president of the National League. They're situated behind the Reds dugout on the first base side, and pitching coach Harvey Haddock's out. Rooker going to go up to the Pirate bullpen. He'll warm up for the 3rd time, and Enrique Romo is going to join him. We're in the 5th. Pirates leading 2-1. Dave Collins, the batter, he is 0 for 2 in the game, 2 for 7 in the series. Batting from the left side. Madlock creeping in from 3rd. Collins shows bunt, and strike 1. Bibby going to go for the lead man to Foley, and they erase Pastore. Bibby came down the hill in a hurry and teamed up with Foley to get the out at second base, 1-6.
Good play by Jim. Knew immediately the ball came down to him quickly. The pitcher running. He had a play, instinctively turned and made a good throw to Foley.
So Collins is on with 1 away. And the batter is second baseman Joe Morgan. walked in the first inning and swiped a base, and flied out to Foley in left center field in the third. So Morgan is 0 for 5 in the series. Pirates 2, Reds 1. Cincinnati got the first run in the second when Pastore's sacrifice fly chased Reason home. Then Foley scored to tie the game in the fourth. Then Foley doubled home Garner to put us in front on the top of this fifth inning. Collins at first. He had 16 stolen bases during the regular season. Omar Moreno has it in right center field. Collins retreats to first base and 2 away. Shortstop Concepcion, 1 for 2. Big play in this ball game was in the third when Concepcion tried to steal third with bench batting, and Ed Ott fired to Madlock and gunned him down. Pirates 2, Reds 1, bottom of the fifth inning. The scene shifts to Pittsburgh. Pirates fly home tonight. The Reds will fly into Pittsburgh tomorrow morning. Game 3 of this championship series slated for 3:15 Friday afternoon. Go to first base. Collins at first and 2 down. He's running. Strike. And the throw not in time. Good play by Garner backing up. Collins gets the stolen base.
Ed Ott really didn't have a chance to throw out the runner. There was slow movement to a home plate on the part of Bibby. Ball short hop Foley, but it didn't matter. Collins had such a good jump, and with his speed, we really didn't have a chance. And he's in there with that stolen base. Garner alertly and with a lot of hustle is backing up the play, so Collins is unable to go to third. Scraps being right there.
Collins in scoring position with 2 away. Bottom of the fifth inning. Pirates in front 2-1. No balls and a strike on Concepcion. Fly ball to right. Parker will take charge. And the Reds are gone in the fifth inning. Cincinnati, no runs, no hits, a walk, a stolen base in the inning. And after 5 innings of play from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, it's our Buccos 2 and the Reds 1.
Well, just in case you're curious or need some, plenty of good general admission seats still remain for the 1979 playoff games to be held where else but in Pittsburgh.
Good seats for your sit, right? The playoffs begin in Pittsburgh this Friday. That's game 3 of the series at 3:15. Also scheduled for Saturday evening and Sunday afternoon. General admission tickets are only $4 and they're going fast.
So do like I have done and stop by the Pirate ticket office at Three Rivers to pick up yours today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Candelaria, I think he's thinking about the World Series. He might. Did you give him that cap from your Baltimore days?
No, mine was dirty. That looks like a new one. I'll tell you, he comes up with some great hats.
He was wearing during that final weekend when we were playing the Cubs and battling the Expos for the crown in the East. He was wearing the Expo hat. Morgan, to his right, flipped the bet, but throws Stargell out.
He's hopeful that that's his next start. His next start will be against Baltimore. That's what he's hoping for. So maybe he's thinking about it right now. Put that hat on and burn a mental impression in that mind.
Chuck Tanner, by the way, did indicate that Candy would be a candidate for Game 5 of this series if there is a Game 5. Look at Joe Morgan. Handled the play on the Stargell ground ball here in the 6th inning. 2-1, Pirates lead. Milner 0 for 1. Looked like he slipped a little bit on this play.
He did. His footing slipped out just a little bit. Right there, we see his foot slipped out, but he was still able to recover and make the play.
Milner pops it into shallow center. Concepcion. Red shortstop has it. Milner's out 2 away. Fly ball into center. Geronimo has it. Pirates are retired 1-2-3 in the 6th inning. So after 5.5 innings of play in Game 2 of the National League Championship Series, it's our Buccos leading the Reds 2-1. We'll be right back. Got a new left fielder for the Bucs. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's Bill Robinson. Takes John Milner's spot defensively, and he'll take John's number 5 spot of the batting order. Jim Bibby has gone all the way for the Bucs. Frank Pastore all the way for the Reds, and now it'll be Bibby against Foster. Bottom of the 6th, Pirates leading 2-1. Kelly, what's the book on George Foster?
George is, of course, one of the strongest hitters in the major leagues. He likes the ball down and over the plate. But a big thing that has helped him, as Willie Stargell, is he has learned to hit the ball out anywhere in the ballpark. He doesn't try to pull the ball, and thus he's strong everywhere in the park. All he wants to do is make good, solid, hard contact.
Johnny McNamara in his first year as manager of the Reds. And he's gotten the Reds into the National League playoffs despite not having Foster for 40 games, losing Griffey for the latter stages of '79. Concepcion missed a bit. Fouled back, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Struck him out. 4th strikeout for Bibby. Foster goes down swinging. 1 away.
Boy, what a good pitch it was. We haven't been there too many times with that good slider. And as we see, it didn't break away as much as it did, almost straight down. Foster swinging right over the top of it. Good pitch by Jim Bibby.
So now Bibby to face Bench. Parker made an outstanding running catch on the warning track in right center in the 1st inning. And then Bench fouled out to Stargell in the 3rd. 2-1, Bucs lead. Just outside, ball 1. 1-1. Broken bat, ground ball to short. Foley takes charge, and Bench is out 2 away. Pirates 2 runs on 5 hits. Reds 1 run on 3 hits. Foley's out of hand in both of our runs. He scored our 1st run of the 4th and doubled home Garner for our 2nd run of the 5th. Left center. Robinson makes the grab. Greason is out. The Reds are gone in the 6th inning. Cincinnati goes down in order. And after 6 innings of play from Riverfront Stadium in Game 2 of the playoffs, it's our Buccos 2 and the Reds 1, and Milo will be coming back to join you in the 7th inning.
Again, everybody, Milo Hamilton back with you along with Nelson Briles to carry you through to the end of this ball game. When we come back with a lead, the Pirates are out in front 2-1 with this total board. Pirates 2-5-0. RBI is Madlock and Foley. Jim Bibby has pitched all the way. For the Reds 1-3-0. RBI Pastore, and he has pitched all the way also. Wondering from Nelson Briles about Bibby. Seemed to be throwing a lot more breaking pitches in the last couple of innings.
He has, and is gaining more confidence in it. He threw a couple over in that last inning when he was behind the count, got them over, and then that really made that fastball look good. He threw right by some people.
And Ed Ott jumps on the first offering for Pastore and singles into right field. And Ott gets his 1st hit today and his 2nd hit in the series. And Phil Garner, who led off the 5th with the controversial base hit as it turned out. How did it look over here?
I thought he caught the ball, Milo. I didn't think the ball came out of his glove at all. He didn't trap it.
I thought McNamara's argument that he went on with, and you can't tell what he's doing down there, but the way he started to point when he then started to leave the field, I felt that he felt that the first base line umpire, the right field line umpire, should have been asked for help or should have even called the play. Didn't you think that he wasn't arguing with the second base umpire as much as he felt that maybe he didn't have the best look?
Well, that seemed true, and we've had, so many appeals. In a couple of cases, they've appealed to the other umpire, and he's overruled. But there, Frank Foley said, no, I saw the ball all the way.
And there's their bullpen working. Bear and Tomlin. They're a duet quite often. Even have matching outfits. Garner with a fly ball to left. Pastore with a tough field right now. He makes the play, but you saw him struggling with it.
Well, this is that sun field we talked about earlier, saying somewhere between 430 and 530 in this ballpark. It can really get difficult. That sun going down just a little bit, and it's the line drive or the semi-line drive as Phil Gardner slips getting out of the box. You see George Foster start to peak, and he's really peaking right now, hiding behind those shades, able to pick the ball up and get it back in, but it's going to be tough, and that might be an important part of this game from here on out.
All right, our batter is Jim Bibby with out at first and one down. Spread away to bunt. Bunts it. Going to make Bench come out of there to get it. Throws down to Morgan covering. Sacrifice accomplished. Second straight time that he's done it. Gets Ott into scoring position. And there's the outer. 2 away now, and it'll be up to Omar Moreno to do some good. That last play went 2-4. And here it is again. He makes a good bunt right here.
The execution of fundamentals, especially when you're a pitcher. This is the way you help yourself with the bat. Get that runner to second base and give the rest of your lineup a chance to drive the runs in. Drops it out, deadens the ball somewhat, makes Bench field the ball. He knows that there's only one play, and that's at first base.
And now Omar Moreno 0 for 3 today and 1 for 8 in the series. We'll be looking at Frank Pastore. Omar has bounced to second, flied to left, and flied to center. Ott's at second base with 2 away. We're in the 7th inning, leading by a run. Fouled off, and it's strike 1. Line drive, left field, base hit. Foster charging. Ed Ott will challenge. The throw toward the plate is going to be out at the plate. Foster charges the sharply hit line drive to left. Throws a strike to Bench, who shut the door, blocked it off. Ott was out, and the side has been retired. And here it is again. Foster came up winging. Now watch this. Bench right there. Shuts the door. He blocks it as well as anybody in the game. And Ott had no place to go but run up against a brick wall, and the side has been retired. Give credit to a base hit to Moreno, but Ott cut down at the plate. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. 7th inning stretch time for the Reds fans at Riverfront. Still tight as you can get it here. The Pirates 2 and the Reds 1. All right, this is Ray Knight, 1 for 2. Ed Ott's his battery mate, and here we go in the bottom of the 7th. Fouled off, out of play. And as we go into these bottom 3 innings, Stargell and Garner on the right side of Chuck Tanner's infield, Tim Foley and Madlock on the left. The outfield, left to right, is Robinson, Moreno, and Parker. After we got in front, Robinson moved into left field. That's pretty much of a common thing with Chuck Tanner. And our bullpen is working. Romo, a right-hander, and Jackson, a lefty. Knight with a no-ball, 1-strike count. Bibby working. Popped some leather with that one.
They certainly did. And right now, from the 7th through the 9th innings, Bibby has to keep in mind, hey, the score might not get any better. I might have to win this ball game 2-1. So he has to keep in the back of his mind that the ball game could ride on 1 pitch. Be careful of your selection and your location from here on out.
Yep, he doesn't have any luxury or any latitude here. He's got to be tough. And the 0-2. Lined into right center. Parker over to get it on the backhand bounce. Boy, did that ball bounce perfectly for him, and a good effort, and he held him to a single.
Boy, what a fine play by Dave Parker. He has to try and get over to cut this ball off. If he can't get to it, it's not only a double, the ball might go all the way to the wall for a triple. The ball comes up just enough. Davey scoops it up, plants himself very quickly, and then dares Ray Knight to go on into second base with his fine arm. Look at that fine backhanded pickup. Nice going, Dave Parker.
All right, it's a leadoff single by Knight, his 2nd hit of the game. He's answering the signs, of course, from his third base coach, Russ Nixon. And Geronimo, who is 0 for 2, striking out each of his first 2 trips, is up here now. So they have put the potential tying run on as they lead off the 7th with Knight. Geronimo squares away and takes it outside for a ball. Bunts it. Stargell with it. Has no play at second. Flips behind him to Garner. Sacrifice accomplished. 3-4 on the sack. Now, Pastore will be lifted. Spillman will be the pinch hitter. When I saw Pastore come out in the first place, I kind of said to myself, I'd believe that when I saw it.
Last night, McNamara was criticized for pinch hitting for Tom Seaver later in the ball game, saying that, hey, you know, things were tied at that point. Why would you take your best pitcher out of the ball game? And he said, hey, I want to use that home field advantage as much as I can. It's the 8th inning. If I can score, then I only need 3 outs to win the ball game. And he said, that's why I made the move. I've believed that all my career. And he said, why should I change now? That's my move. I make it.
Spillman hit .214 in 43 games. He only had 56 at-bats. He had 12 hits, 3 doubles, no homers, no triples, and 5 runs batted in.
These games just don't get any easier. We can't have an easy one, but of course, championship series, none of them are very easy.
Spillman making his first appearance of the series. Against us for the year, he was 0 for 3. And Bibby probably realizes that with the top of the order coming and the next 2 batters left-handed, he's looking at the guy he's got to get. Fouled it off.
Certainly does. This is the key. He's got to try and get this man right here. Get him out, and then you've got some flexibility. But if he is able to get on, then they set up an inning.
Another jam-packed riverfront to back their Reds. And when they pan those cameras around at Three Rivers on Friday afternoon, that's the way it ought to be to welcome these Buccos home. Every seat filled with a Pirate fan. All right, as Bibby stretches, Knight's at second. The 0-1. And it's in there. Got him in a hole 0-2. Left center. Robinson has it. And Knight, who had wandered a pretty good distance off second, has to hurry back. That makes it 2 away. So Spillman took Bibby to the opposite side. Robinson at that particular time. Now, you notice he didn't have the trouble that Foster did earlier in the inning because the ball was up enough. He had a good look at it.
Ball got up above the sun and then came down through it. It's that line drive and that semi-liner that stay right in the path of the sun and is very difficult to pick up. You just try and stay with the ball long enough and hopes it comes out at the last minute where you can see it.
All right, here is Dave Collins. He lined to center in the first, struck out swinging in the second, reached on a fielder's choice in the fifth, and stole a base. They have stolen 3 bases today. Along with Collins, Knight has 1, and so does Morgan. He's come back with a heater, hasn't he, this inning?
Certainly has. Still has the pop on that fastball. Collins, left-handed, being a good low ball fastball hitter, you have to try and keep that fastball above the waist.
Had a great second half after Griffey was injured. Now he's in front of him, 2 strikes.
High, missed it. Fastball, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bibby has gotten some of the big Cincinnati hitters out with that slider. He got Foster with a vicious slider, struck him out, and he broke Bench's bat. The ground ball is short on a tough slider. Chuck Tanner. It'll be interesting to see as we look at McNamara who Tanner will start. If he wins, he says it'll be one guy. If he loses, it'll be somebody else. I think it'll be Blylevel. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tying run at second. Struck him out. Bibby just reared back and fired the ball. Collins is out on strikes. That's the 5th strikeout. That ends the inning. So at the end of 7 complete innings here, the score, Pittsburgh 2, Cincinnati 1, and it'll be Tim Foley, Dave Parker, and Willie Stargell for Pittsburgh. If there was ever proof that a manager is smart when his players come through, it's been proven these 2 games. Last night he took out Seaver trying to get a rally started and was asked and second-guessed about it. They didn't score when Auerbach, the pinch hitter, struck out. They had 2 base runners on, but then Tekulve got Concepcion hit into a double play. Its strategy didn't work. And here he sacrifices. He pulls Pastore. and nobody drives in the run, so McNamara is not quite as smart. 1 strike to count on Foley. Line drive, it is a foul ball.
Came out to the ballpark this morning, and the first thing I said to McNamara, there's the new pitcher, Dave Tomlin, in the 53 ball game, a guy that becomes very important with the left-handed hitters on this Pittsburgh game. But I said to McNamara, how many times have you already been asked the question, why did you take out Tom Seaver? And he said, he'll say the same thing today if they lose. Wouldn't have been a good time to have the designated hitter in. I wouldn't have had to make the move.
1-2 pitch. Hit hard. Morgan, 1 hop, has it. Greason, and it's 1 out. The controversial play was on a ball hit by Garner as Parker comes up. That was in the 5th inning. Here it is. Did he catch it or not? Collins says, yes, I did. And McNamara was really upset. Frank Pulley, the second base umpire, called it.
I think the 3 of us in the booth agreed that he caught it. Where Pulley may have lost the ball, when he catches it right there, watch, Collins will roll over, and the ball is now out of the view. Right there from Pulley, and Pulley may have felt that he pinned the ball against the artificial surface. That's the time when you might say, hey, maybe he needed the help from the right field foul line umpire, but he refused to take it. He called it on his own and stuck with it.
There's a strike, and they've got a right field umpire, John Kibler, and they got a left field umpire. They got so many umpires. I wonder what umpires like Jocko Conlon and Beans Reardon and those guys are saying. They got too many of them out there. All right, go back to the old days.
I don't think Jocko Conlon and the others had replays from 4 different angles, as Kenny Foucher, director, and our producer, what's his name, had? Oh, yeah, I remember. George Finkel.
Oh, keep it up, Tony. But they've got 4 umpires, and then the 2 foul line umpires. Parker, beautiful pitch by Tomlin. Parker didn't get it, out on strikes. 2 outs.
Here's the guy, Dave Tomlin, that we said could be very important before this series is over. Making some outstanding pitches to Dave Parker. Breaking ball down and away, struck him out. If Cincinnati's going to stay in it, they're going to have somebody get those left-handed hitters out, and it has to be Tomlin.
Fouled off just enough for him to get a swing on the house. And we understand that our picture problems are all cleared up. I told you it wouldn't take long. Look at Stargell giving the bench a going over down there. Because I think that foul tip took a toehold on Johnny Bench.
And he was telling Willie, as we're going to see here, right as the ball goes right off his foot. You can see it on the inside where the shin guard does not cover. And Johnny's looking up at Willie, hey, hit the ball the other way. Don't foul it off back here.
2-2, 2 down. 3-2. Bill Robinson due up next.
All that protective garb, and it always seems to hit you where nothing is protected.
There's a drive. Way back into center. It is off the top of the fence. Stargell's into second, and the captain has a double, his second hit of the game. He's probably saying, I knew I could get to second this time and not find Parker. He's in the dugout.
Well, again, that pitch is in his zone, which is down and over the plate. Willie extends through it, hits a little too high for it to carry all the way out. Geronimo, finding the fence, going back to it, leaps up, but the ball is just about a foot above his glove. The ball bounces off that hard wall all the way back in. Just couldn't get up high enough. Stargell is on second with a 2-out double.
Bill Robinson, who came on to replace Milner a couple of innings ago, is scheduled to bat. It'll be his first appearance of the day. And John McNamara, with the right-hand batter due, is going to send Tomlin to a shower and bring on Hume, who was the losing pitcher last night. And a young left-hander who's still got to be pinching himself that he's even in uniform for this playoff series is warming up in their bullpen. A bouncer to short, Concepcion in, throws and gets Robinson, so didn't take long for Hume to do what he was brought on to do, get them out of a trouble spot and Robinson bounces to short. No home run was hit during this Giant Eagle sweepstakes inning. No one ever loses here, though. Our contestant, Mike Bishop of Library, will receive a certificate for 10 Tasty Cake family packs and a year's supply of daily juice products available at your grocer. Our next Giant Eagle sweepstakes will be worth $700. So, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. We're in the middle of the 8th, and Grant Jackson's going to come on to protect the 1-run lead. It's the Pirates 2 and the Reds 1. Grant Jackson, who won last night's game in relief, is on again, and for the second straight game, here's Bob Skinner, old sweet swing. Harvey Haddix, they were teammates in a championship club, Pirate uniform, now coaching with us. Joe Morgan, who has walked, popped to short, and flied to center. And Jackson's first pitch in relief today is a ball. I started to say our 2 starting pitchers, Candelaria gave us 7 strong innings, so did Bibby. Garner had him played perfectly. He had closed that hole before the ball was ever hit.
Well, again, feeling that Grant Jackson was behind the hitter, 3-2. I'm sure adjusting with a pitch in a situation, he goes ahead and cheats in a hole just a little more. Makes a fine play. Manager Chuck Tanner coming out to talk with Jackson.
I think he had made up his mind that he had him on to only get the left-hand batter, because with Concepcion, Foster, and Bench due, Jackson got the one man he was brought on to get. Now it's up to Romo to look at these right-hand batters. All right, Romo ready. He's going to work from the full wind, as you can see. And that's a strike call, so he opened up with a breaking ball on Concepcion. So this is a chance for Romo to show his stuff. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Line drive in the left, base hit. He got that ball right in Concepcion's wheelhouse that time.
Well, he certainly did. Wanted to spot the ball just a little bit better, but got the ball over to the middle of the plate, and that's right where Davy Concepcion can handle it. So he's got himself in a little bit of a jam here with big home run hitter George Foster coming to bat.
Foster walked in the first, walked in the third, struck out swinging, and there's that base hit again. He hit it like a bullet. John McNamara, there seemed to be a little something going on between the right field line umpire and the first base umpire. You've also got to be alert here for Concepcion to run. Dave Roberts, the lefty, Jacoby, the righty, in the Pirate bullpen. All right, we'll keep an eye on everybody. Concepcion had 19 stolen bases. They have stolen 3 bases today. They were all on Bibby. Strike 1. Line drive, right field. 2 straight hits off Romo, and the Reds are charging. Throw to Foley. Boy, they've put that play on a few times this year, and it almost worked on Concepcion. He'd taken a pretty good turn. So 2 straight hits off Romo by Concepcion and Foster. And Romo's in a full-blown jam now, but he'll never get to work his way out of it. Here it is on that replay of Parker, who likes to see Foley get it in by that runner. Foley really wasn't in a good position that time and couldn't take the throw cleanly.
Well, he was on the run, and we're going to see Foley moves down the line to be the cutoff, but then as the throw is made, he comes back toward the ball, and he tried to run, catch, and tag the runner all at one time and was just not able to handle the ball. I don't think they had him at second base, but it is a play that they have used, and it is a good play because Foley can decoy the runner, and maybe you catch him just sleeping a little bit.
Well, our third pitcher of the inning is coming on, Kent Jacoby. And there he is, Kent Jacoby.
He came in the other day just at the end of the season and told manager Chuck Tanner, he said he would pitch 2 innings and then he'd pitch 3 innings in a row, and going into the last day he said, Chuck, I can give you 5 full innings today. And Chuck looked at him and he said, "You got to be crazy. You've been in 93 games, pitched so many innings." He said, "Yes, but I'm 5 innings short of last year. Last year I pitched 135. This year I've only pitched 130. I've got to have 5 innings left."
And there's Chuck Tanner filling in that big yellow lineup card that he keeps. Johnny Bench 0 for 3 today. He's 2 for 6 in the series. John Robinson has replaced Tekulve in the bullpen. He's throwing alongside Roberts. And Johnny Bench, the batter, with 2 on and 1 away. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Pirates leading 2-1. Romo did not do the job. He gave up 2 straight hits. And just as Tekulve was ready, Bench stepped out on him. And the pitch, he was going to bunt that ball. And he looked like he was trying to push at the position of his bat, which was odd because Madlock playing back. You'd have thought he tried to make Madlock make a play, but the position of his bat, if that ball would have hit it, looked like it would have gone up the first base side.
I guarantee if he'd have got it down, he'd have surprised everybody in the ballpark because nobody was anticipating that.
He just threw the ball away. Concepcion to third. Pastore to second on a Tekulve wild pitch. That time the sinker became a stinker. He didn't want to throw that pitch, and here it is again.
Well, I think just trying to throw that slider a little too hard, as he did trying to strike a hitter out at home for the last out of the season. He said, "I tried to throw that slider 500 miles an hour." And I think that's what he tried to do in that situation. Now you have to think. Do you go ahead and pitch to Johnny Bench? You have a left-handed hitter up next. We're in a full-blown situation with Bench up there.
Pastore had a little conference as we were having one, that a leg was bothering him. And I think Johnny McNamara is not satisfied that Pastore's 100% physical right here.
And if there's any expression on George Foster's face, I'm sure that he's a little disappointed. They're going to talk it over. George is a fine competitor, but he hurt that a little bit. He's trying to stretch it out, see how it feels.
Because right now he represents a go-ahead run, and McNamara's got to be thinking, hey, if you can't run and they nail you at the plate, if somebody gets a hit for us, instead of going in front, we end up in a tie, you got to be square with me. And they evidently convinced him because McNamara ran right out of there. And with that conference, we have another one. Everybody talking it over. The big thing that that wild pitch did to Tekulve is the fact that can't get that double play now. So Chuck Tanner, more than a little bit concerned here. But look at that confidence that he exudes to those players by saying, all right, you can do it. Runners at second and third, 1 out. The 1-1 to Johnny Bench. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The on-deck hitter is a left-hand batter, Danny Dreesen. Bench has flied to right, hopped to first, grounded to short. And as Nellie pointed out a moment ago, it always seems in big situations he gets a chance. Struck him out. Holy Toledo, what a way to come back after throwing a wild pitch.
Boy, he just reared back, knew that he'd messed up in this situation and said, hey, I got to reach back and do the job myself. He didn't even go for location. That ball's over the middle of the plate, right in Bench's power, gets it right by him. He just challenged him one-on-one.
It's his first strikeout. It's the 6th of the game against the Reds. Bibby had 5 in the 7 innings that he worked. And here is Dreesen. He had a base hit in the second. He scored the run that they have in this game. They're going to put him on here because Knight, a right-hand batter, do. The third base job was his to keep or play himself off of in spring training. He played himself on and went on to have a good year. He's had 2 hits today, 2 for 3. He's 2 for 8 in the series as he faces Kent Tekulve with a teammate on every base, and Tekulve trying to hold on to a 2-1 lead that belongs to Bibby. Ball 1. Concepcion is at third, represents the tying run. Foster's at second, represents a lead run. Dreesen's at first. right, really leans over. Ball 2. Concepcion motioning in. Madlock right behind him.
Concepcion saying, make it be right there. Make it be your pitch. Get a good pitch to hit.
2 balls and no strikes. Took it, and it's 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. 3-1. The lid on the pressure cooker is wobbling. 3 balls, 1 strike, bases loaded. Strike called. Let's see what he does with a payoff. Bounce foul, and naturally the runners are ready to move with the 2 out in the 3-2 situation. This is tough on a pitcher here, too, when they foul him off, to keep getting that pitch where you want it.
Certainly does. You know that there's no room to be fine or anything else. You know that the winning run is now running on the pitch, and a base hit is surely going to score a speedy George Pastore. So this is your key out. You got to do it right here. 1 pitch.
All right, he's ready. Fly ball. Left center. Moreno there. Tekulve's out of a full-blown mess. And the side has been retired in the Cincinnati 8th. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, intentional pass. The Reds leave 3 and have now stranded 9 in the game. Now the Bucs will really be looking for insurance. We're going to go to the 9th, trying to up the ante here with this score. The Pittsburgh Pirates 2, the Cincinnati Reds 1. Tom Hume, who came on in the 8th inning with 2 away and got Bill Robinson to bounce out to end that inning, is still on for the Reds as we go to the 9th. Madlock is due, and he's in there. There's a Cincinnati dugout that's got to be wondering. They just saw a big opportunity go by the board. There's a bouncer to short. Concepcion charges the big hop. Throws. Madlock is out, 1 away in the Pirate 9th. Boy, you talk about keys. We've had some in 2 straight days here. I thought the coolest thing of all that he did in that inning, Tekulve I'm talking about, after inheriting a mess, was while pitching 2 runners in the scoring position and then going right after bench. Well, it just showed you that Tekulve, he's nothing but ice water in those veins.
He has all the emotions of a rock.
Fouled off up to the left, and it's strike 1.
I should say he displays all the emotion of a rock. I'm sure inside there is turmoil.
He charges the hitters a little more. There's a looping line drive singled into left off Ed Ott's bat, his 2nd hit in this game and his 3rd hit in the series. And there are some pitchers like that, because Hume, that's his 1st hit that he's given up, and it's the 9th Pirate hit in the game compared to 6 for the Reds. But you've seen pitchers like that, who as starters, almost the 2nd time around in a league or 2nd time through the order against a club, they kind of got to him. As a short reliever, I think it may have been a blessing for him to get that new kind of a role. Pitch to Garner is a strike.
A lot of times what happens with a first-year player in the league, sometimes he goes out and tries to finesse. He doesn't know the league, and when they put him in a bullpen, now he comes in pressure situations, and he starts challenging the hitters, letting his good stuff take care of the hitters.
And the swinging strike makes it 0-2 on Garner. He's had 1 hit today, 3 hits in the series. 1 last night was a homer. Seaver said that his home run that he hit, Garner's, was on a good pitch. Seaver felt that the biggest mistake he made in the night was throwing Foley a slider away with a runner at 3rd, because then Foley was able to get the sacrifice fly to the opposite field.
And he didn't make a real good pitch with it either, and Foley just being able to reach out there and get the ball deep enough.
There's the guy that wants to bat, Kent Tekulve. 2-2. Smash to third. Came up on Knight. He's going to throw to second. And they will force Ed Ott. That goes 5-4. He comes up with it cleanly. I think they had a chance for the DP, but the minute he dropped it, had trouble. It came up on him. Then they went for the sure out, and Morgan then knew, just take the throw, don't do anything else.
Yes, just as soon as the ball was bobbled, and understandably so, because that ball was hit on a one-hop shot. And Knight really basically just tried to knock the ball down. He knew the ball was going to eat him alive a little bit, and then came up in a hurry and made a good throw to Joe Morgan.
Kent Jacoby, who doesn't get the opportunity to bat very much, went down to check in with Joe Lynette. There's Ray Knight. I think that ball stung him. Checking his bare hand a little bit.
Kent, by the way, has fired Tony Barterome as his hitting coach. He said, hey, I haven't gotten a hit in a long time. You haven't helped me any more this year.
Well, after that swing, I wonder who the next guy will be to go.
He's open for suggestions.
Garner's at first. 2 away, 9th inning. Strike 2. Struck him out. Side retired. First strikeout for Hume. Third strikeout of a Pirate in the game. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. Garner was left. And so the stage is set for another one of those photo finishes. And if you haven't become accustomed to them by now as a Pirate fan in '79, you've either been out of the country or you haven't been paying attention, because we're going to the 9th inning in a game that the Bucks need to hang on to come roaring home 2-0 in this championship series. And with this score, we'll try to hold them Bucks at Riverfront. Pirates 2, Reds 1. I got to believe that one of the things he was saying to himself, Nellie, is, I got to get Geronimo. I don't want Johnny McNamara to have the luxury of bringing a guy off the bench to get me in real trouble.
If he can get the leading lady, then they basically cannot sacrifice any more outs to try and get a runner to second base in scoring position. So this leading lady is the one you want to get. And Kent's ready. Boy, he's just thrown a couple of pitches. Candy, I'm sure, is rooting as hard as he can for Tekulve, who saved quite a few of his games this year. He'll be ready if we need him later on in the series. But right now it's up to Kent Tekulve and what he does right here.
All right, in the bullpen out in the left field line, working Robinson, a right-hander, and Dave Roberts, a lefty, and Geronimo, who is 0 for 2 today, struck out in the second, struck out in the fourth on a foul tip. In the 7th inning, he sacrificed. Doug Bear is throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen, and Johnny McNamara knows that if something doesn't happen his way in this inning, it'll be an uphill climb at Three Rivers. Ball 1 to Geronimo. That's a foul. It went out into fair territory, but it had gone off an instep, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Hector Cruz going to be McNamara's choice.
Best right-handed pinch hitter they have on their bench right now. Played center field last night. Been swinging a pretty good bat for them lately and does have home run power.
All right, Tekulve ready. The 1-1. Strike is in there, 1-2. That is 1 away on a K job on a left-hand hitter. Second strikeout for Teak, the 7th Redleg to strike out in the game. And here it is again.
That good sinker that's low and away from him. Geronimo trying to go out there and catch up with it, but comes up empty and goes down for the 3rd time swinging.
Hector Cruz will be the pinch hitter. And he's waiting for Teak's first offering, and it's a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-2. Now I think that if the pitch will not count, I think that a umpire down the line had called time. That's what it was. But instead of it being 1-2, it goes back to 1-1. Oh boy. All right, skipper of the Bucks, Chuck Tanner, deeply involved as you'd expect him to be. into right center. Moreno's going to have a drop in front of him. Cruz is headed for second, and he's in there with a double. Tying runs in scoring position with one away in the bottom of the ninth inning at Riverfront. It's the first hit off to Colby. It's the 7th Cincinnati hit of the game. And now the top of the order will be up there.
Well, Cruz got under it just a little bit, but hit it out in the right center. Omar, knowing that he can let him have basically a single or a double, but don't let the ball get by him for a triple where a sacrifice fly would score the run. Plays it back a little bit, is able to pick it off and throw the ball back in. So they've got tying run and scoring position with one out.
Dave Collins, a switch hitter, will bat left. He's 0 for 4 today. He's 2 for 9 in the series. Morgan is on deck. Lined into right center. The game will be tied. He's going to dig for second, and he's going to be safe at second. Tie game. So Collins delivers a double right after the pinch hit double, and Chuck Tanner is on his way. As you saw Collins hustling in there to second, because that puts the go-ahead run in scoring position with only one away in the bottom of the ninth. And Dave Roberts, I told you after Cruz got that double that it would affect him differently, and Roberts is on the way in to face Joe Morgan.
Boy, you don't think Dave Collins didn't know what that base hit meant. He was really pumped. He knew that he hustled into second base, drove in that tying run. As we see Hector Cruz, the one who pinch hit, got that base hit. Collins knows what it's meant, and it's been a long uphill climb for that young man. And now for it to culminate, he's in the year that he's had, and to deliver in this situation, you can see him, yeah, let's go. I did it. Now somebody drive me in.
But this may be one of those cases where Roberts can concentrate just as hard as he wants to on Morgan, trying to get him in the belief from this corner, at least the way Chuck played it in the 8th, that maybe this is the only man he wants him to get out.
That is very true, and with Robinson backing up Roberts in a bullpen, we can still bring him in, and with a day off tomorrow, we might see another right-hander, possibly a starter, go down to back up Don Robinson. There we see that base hit. The ball was down and over the plate, and Collins just went down and got it. Hit that line drive in the gap that Parker was able to cut off, which was a big move on the part of Dave. Had that ball gotten by, we didn't have much of a chance for triple for sure. Having to throw off balance just a little bit and not make a typical Dave Parker throw. And again, we can see how gratifying it is to a Dave Collins to do it when it counts.
And of course, this rally's really got this crowd pumped up too. Roberts is our 5th pitcher in the game, facing Joe Morgan. Morgan today has walked, popped up, flied out, and bounced out. He is 0 for 7 in the series. Ball 1. 2-0. Ball 3. And he walked him. So Roberts, who was brought on to get a left-hand batter, walked him on 4 pitches, and Chuck Tanner's already on his way. He wants Don Robinson. So there's Collins. He's at second. Morgan's at first. Don Robinson, as the Cincinnati bench that was quiet a couple of innings ago, all of a sudden now has some people standing up on the ledge. Chuck Tanner, always up in front and moving around, looking out at his right-hander, Don Robinson. Concepcion, 2 for 4. He's had 4 hits in the series. Fouled off, out of play. Whoa, and 2. Smoke. That ball might have left a vapor trail.
I thought I saw a light, a light stream coming out behind it, but Don reaching back and going with his best, and he has a lot of confidence in that fastball right now. Used it last night and has used it so far in his appearance.
No balls, 2 strikes. Don Robinson. Look at that intensity. Struck out Concepcion. 2 away in the inning. First strikeout for Robinson, of course, the only man is faced. It's the 8th Cincinnati player to strike out in the game. And here it is again.
This is one of those unhittable curveballs. After throwing all of those fastballs, he comes over the top and drops one right off the table. Concepcion more or less just giving a wave as Robinson made an outstanding pitch.
Well, that shows you the confidence you talked about that he had a moment ago, but to go with that breaking ball there, a great pitch.
And it was not only throwing the pitch, but it was excellent location. He just executed beautifully.
All right, here is Foster with 2 on and 2 out. Collins at second. That's the run that counts for them. Morgan's also at first. Bouncer Garner. We've got extra innings for the second game in a row. Oh, he had him shaded to the right side. Morgan was at first, and Collins was at second, and Garner just slipped right over in there, got that bouncing ball, and Don Robinson for the second day did a great job coming out of that bullpen. So they're limited to 1 run. 2 hits. There weren't any errors. There haven't been any in the game. There was a walk, and they leave a pair. We're going to go to the 10th inning. Now the Buck bats have to start all over again. We've got the top of the order coming up. And they have Doug Bear already on the mound with this score. Pirates, 2 runs, 9 hits. The Reds, 2 runs, 8 hits. Get out of an organization. In fact, here's a fellow who was traded to Detroit, and Detroit was so unimpressed with him, they sent him back to the Pittsburgh organization. He pitched his way back. He's become a fine one, and there he is, and he had another good year for them.
Certainly has been a fine competitor during the regular season. Made 65 appearances. He was 11-7, was second on their staff with 16 saves.
1 ball, 1 strike. Boy, did he went after a low pitch like Collins did, didn't he?
Certainly did, and left-handers like that pitch down there and just drilled it right in the hole with no problem.
So let's see if we try to do something here with the base-stealing champ the second straight year on. Moreno gets his second hit today and his 3rd hit in the series. Greeting an old minor league teammate, Doug Bear, with that hit. That's 10 hits for the Pirates. The Reds have 8. Foley has had 4 hits in this series. A single and a double today, 2 for 4. He drove in the second run in the 5th inning. He got Garner home. Get that big lead again, not going. And there's a bunt. Bear out to get it. His only play is to Morgan covering it first. So Moreno's in scoring position, standing there with Concepcion. Little playful bump. Walked into him. So Tim Foley once again does his thing, doesn't he? He does so many things. The contributions add up from him.
So we see Chuck Tanner playing it fundamentally the way you're supposed to. Bunt that man to second. Now we need the base hit. Depends how Cincinnati wants to play with it. And both Tanner and Foley know what executing the fundamentals mean to a ball club. And Foley, above all, is an excellent fundamental ball player.
All right, here's Parker. He's 1 for 4 today. He's had 2 for 8 in the series. Facing a right-hander, Doug Bear. So the Cobra with a chance to bust us out of a tie here. They've got a right-hander throwing in their pen. It looks like Sarmiento. And the lefty is the youngster we tried to talk about earlier who just made the club at the last minute.
Certainly did. Replaced Bonham, who had pulled a muscle in his forearm, right forearm.
Boy, that ball had something on it.
So he did, and Davey, swinging a little wildly that time, was not quite as selective. He wants to get a good pitch now that he can drive for the base hit. That's all we need right here. We'll take more, but a base hit is of primary importance.
Moreno dancing around out there, trying to bother him a little bit. Concepcion had cut in behind, but now he's back. That's up high, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Dave Parker ended up hitting over 300. Took a real hot final week to do it. led us in RBIs. And Bears pitched to him. Well, he looked that one right into Bench's mitt.
Certainly has, and evidently he collected himself right after that first pitch, knew he swung at a bad pitch. Now he's taking a good look, and that's what's made Dave such a good hitter here the last month.
2 balls, 1 strike. Let's get the antelope home. He's going to come home. He's going to be challenged by the throwing arm of Foster, but this time it'll be off target, and Parker ends up at second base. Now Foster, who charged the ball the first time, that was back when Ed Ott was eventually thrown out at the plate in the 7th inning on a Moreno sizzling line drive to left. But on Moreno's hit in the 7th, the ball was hit more sharply. It was hit more at him. He didn't have near the